Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Juan Carlos Brando, and for me, it's a pleasure to have all of you joining us at this show with the attorney Margaret W. Wong and Associates. Today, we have our head attorney, Margaret W. Wong. She has over 46 years of experience working in the immigration field. She has 7 offices at the moment in the United States of America, but she has had more offices or less offices. She has been growing for these 46 years. She started in 1977, only one desk, not even a secretary, and she started working. She became one of the most important attorneys in the state of Ohio and the circuit where Ohio belongs. She helped with the design of the Supreme Court of Ohio, and she has been helping thousands of families every single year with employment-based cases, cancellation of removal, family-based petitions. Well, many kind of visas that people cannot imagine how hard they are to get. But the attorney Margaret Wong has done something very important in her life, which is getting surrounded by people that are that add something to her profession, that had the ability to add a special value or an added value to the law firm that makes the law firm one of the most important and strongest law firms in the United States of America. So let's welcome the attorney Margaret W. Wong today. Hello, Ms. Wong. How are you doing?
I'm very good, Mr. Juan Carlos, and thank you.
And I feel proud in a good sense when I get to talk to you, because I know your career has been amazing. You have such an incredible career along these 46 years. You got to meet President Obama, President Biden, President Clinton, the president's wife, Hillary Clinton. Well, you have been able to get to know all of these people. So what do you think after going so many years and being able to step into places that not many people can get?
I think I was lucky because I came at the right time to America. I came in 1969 with a student visa. And I was very, very lucky because China and America and Hong Kong at that time, we have war, the Korean Second World War the Second World War is 45. And even the Outliers, the book written, said that timing is everything. So I came in 1969. The Civil Rights Act came in 64 with President Johnson, and then Color Quota Act in 65. And I lucked into it because by then they are welcoming people of color. The interesting is that Latino and Hispanic people is not considered people of color. They're considered white, because the whole America at that time was so white that we want to increase the people, like the Asian people, the Africans, people like us. So I lucked out because those were also the days it was really not that difficult to get residencia. Now it's so difficult. I tell my clients, don't even think about it. Think about work permit and legal stay. In those days, people cannot come illegally because a boat would take like 3 months, or we'll do stowaway, but the law is on stowaway as you cannot even get a work permit or green card. In those days, asylum is not prominent with the Latino people. Asylum is only prominent for people like Chinese because it's Communist Party. Even in Russia, asylum with just no people in America. And then Kissinger and Nixon came in. So it's really all about history, I think I was just very lucky and I worked really hard. And I also like what I do. I think you just have to keep learning to follow with the times. A lot of people say, oh, how do you remain young? I don't think the answer is to remain young. I think the answer is to keep reading the newspaper, keep reading books, keep learning. I learned so much from my clients that you'd be surprised. A lot of times I ask questions, they'll say, why do you need to know that? I said, until I know your state where you're from, your country where you're from, who you are, I cannot help you. So I think I just am very fortunate.
And thank you so much for letting us know all of that. And yeah, so about race, it has been something really important um, in all of those years. You have seen many people that were black people that could enter to some places that they were banned before. For example, I was watching a movie of a baseball player, the first black baseball player in the Major League Baseball. It was Jackie Robinson.
Mhm.
So that movie is amazing of how he was chased, how they were trying uh, to make him leave the baseball. They were trying to kick him out of all profession, all of the hotels and everything, because he was black. So uh, there has been an important evolution regarding to this. But do you think we still need to work more in forgetting about racism? Like, is there more job to do in this United
I
States?
think America's becoming so weird. The Me Too movement about men abusing women, it happened all the time. When I still remember when I was a young lawyer, a judge would say, "Oh, what are you doing tonight?" I was so naive, right? Because being a Catholic, being someone new in America, I just thought, oh, and then they would say, oh, my wife is not home. You want to come over? And I said, sure, why not? I was not even thinking, you know. And now looking back, I said, oh, maybe. But being Asian also helped. And I think that may or may not also apply to African American men and women or Black American men and women, because I'm so away from the American world that I never felt it. It could be I'm just stupid, but lately I'm feeling it. So I think America really have changed in the past 60 years, because at that time we have Gloria Steinem, we have the whole feminist movement in the 70s, or the housewives, they were on Valiums, and you know those so that's another movement. So in the 70s, and then the Vietnam War, the fight against. So now America is so fragmented. We still have a lot of Vietnam veterans that they're not treated right. You know, they have these brain injuries and nobody care about them. They're all now sometimes homeless, sometimes familyless. But now in the Iraqi war, the Iranian war, all these wars, um, so America is becoming very different than the America I remembered. But you know, we just have to change with it. Also because of Google, with the things, information. I see all those new arrivals from the southern border when they come and talk to us. I'm amazed that some of them understand English. Some of them still, they're very American and westernized. You know, I thought, oh my gosh, you just came. But they're not like us. See, I still remember even after 20 years in America, I looked very different. I didn't have money to go get a good haircut. I didn't have money to buy pretty glasses. So when I interviewed for these Wall Street law firm jobs, I was like an idiot, you know. But nowadays, young people, they're very poised. So times have changed. We just have to grow with it.
Yeah, and well, you can say that this is not the same America that you came over 50 years ago, and I can say this is not the same America that I came 10 years ago.
Right. Yeah.
So it's uh, it's all about changes. Gas was around $3 when I came. Then it went down. It went down all the way down to 128, and now it's 3 plus again. So uh, it changes. Life changes everywhere, and especially in the United States of America. Okay, so we have our first question for today is, please, how difficult is it to win a T visa case? Can your active participation in church activities be used as good moral character?
It's not difficult to win any case. The facts are important. The story is important. TV says a transport, illegal transport case is a trafficking case. So we have to be trafficked. You know, you don't have to be trafficked for your body, but for your labor. Good moral character, as long as you have no criminal record, is presumed to be good moral character. So you don't necessarily have to participate. I mean, it would be nice if you participate. Good moral character normally is not a problem for us. Just make sure you don't have criminal records. Good moral character is the easy one. The hard one is the facts of the case.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And so, Michael or Michelle, I don't know how to say that. If you want to ask for more information, you can call the phone number 216 279 3984, 216 279 3984, and one of the attorneys in the law firm will take care of your case. Hello, Mrs. Wong. I am a Korean pastor. I run a church in Indianapolis. I have a bunch of Hispanic people that we are helping in my church with food, clothes, and helping them even to find jobs. What can a church do for them to get legal status in the United States?
That's difficult. The church can, as an employer, could mostly sponsor religious people. There are three types. One is a professional, which means that you have to have either a bachelor, a master, or PhD degree, and that's a professional R visa case or religious worker. The second one is ministry. If they're a priest, if they're a pastor, they can give the Holy Communion. Sorry. Sorry. Then the third case is more skilled worker. I am really sorry. So as a church, it's hard to, you cannot just give jobs because you have to pay them prevailing wage. So you are doing all you could already to help them, to give them food, to help them get jobs. Make sure, and also the good news is, because we are churches, we are lawyers, we are paralegals, we are not charged. President Trump and some southern, like Florida people and Texas people, and at one time Alabama, what they're trying to do is to get people like you and I, the churches, the lawyers, the paralegals, who are helping undocumented people and charging us with illegal transporting, illegal sheltering, which I know as a church they would not charge. But years and years ago, under the Republican, actually it's not even years, that's what the extremists, the KKK people, the seriously dangerous people, they're trying to look at people like us, is that we're trying to help the illegals, so we ourselves are charged with a criminal offense. But right now, this is not happening under Biden. But you are doing everything you can. And on their behalf, I thank you. It's very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And yeah, well, we have more questions coming in. So if you have any questions, please don't forget that you can send your question, and Ms. Wong will be answering your questions live and free today in this show. The attorney Margaret W. Wong will be tomorrow in the city of Nashville, Tennessee. And if you want to make your appointment, please call the phone number 216 279 3984, 216 279 3984. Next question says, hello, ma'am. I own a food store in a gas station. I got robbed in the store. 3 guys entered showing guns and pointing at me. I was alone in the store. They took beer,
you
cigarettes.
you can file what we call a U visa. I don't know if you kept the TVs on top of the store, but even if you don't have it, it's okay. I don't know if you also reported to the police right away. Next time, I would suspect you need to take some pictures. The good news is because there was a gun, it's probably like an aggravated robbery. So the form to do, good job, everything is on camera, good job. So make sure, don't ask the police to sign the 918B the second day, because it's sort of embarrassing, because there are 3 elements. Number 1, there should be an injury. That means you're traumatized, you went to emergency, you went to a therapist. So I would not I would recommend that you don't forget to go to victim services or something. Second is make sure you report to police right away, because right now you don't want them to think, oh, I'm just staging a robbery so I can get a U visa, right? So that's the second thing. The third thing, have them sign your 918B. There are two places for them to sign. As long as they're willing to sign it, you should get a U visa. Once you file the 918B, the four forms, the I-192, the 765, the 918, and the 918B, if you have family members in India or wherever they are, also make sure you file the 918A, any spouses and children under 21. Once you file it in about 2 or 3 months, you get a receipt notice, then you get a fingerprint notice. If they're overseas, they should make an appointment to see the American embassy there for fingerprints. Some embassy is weird, they're really mean. Other embassies are very cooperative. um, it doesn't hurt to have a lawyer to do it, because you can get a C-14. That's another President Biden thing, giving a 4-year work permit under C-14. Under Obama, it was 1 year. Under Trump, 0 years. And then 2 years, if you're lucky. Under Biden is 4 years now, is a new law. So C-14, U visa is taking a long time, maybe 8 or 9 years for approval. 3 years after approval, you get a green card. It's a long process, but at least you got a C-14 work permit. And definitely go ahead and do it if it's a aggravated robbery. Robbery sometimes is a problem, but fight for it. You'll be fine. U visa.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. Don't forget the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. Ms. Wong has a lot of knowledge, experience, and she's surrounded by people that are very, very good and experts in all of the areas of immigration. So you will be safe in her hands, because it's not only her taking care of something. It's like Miss Wong. If I try to do something by myself, I may make mistakes. But if I have a person that is working with me and that might be supervising my job, then that person can find the mistakes that I don't see. So that's good, because in the law firm you have the legal assistants, paralegals, attorneys, and everything is checked up by each line. So it's like, what do you call it? Quality control? Yeah, it's a lot of quality control before you do the filing. So that's very, very good, because the possibility of errors goes to the minimum, and that's what we need to do. Even if it's the best attorney, if they work alone, there's some things that they won't see if they don't have someone backing them up in each case. So that's a good thing about the law firm in with the attorney Margaret W. Wong. Ms. Wong, the next question is, a person that has been in the United States for 11 years and has 2 kids born here is able to file asylum. How long are taking the court cases?
Yeah, this is a very good question that you're talking about 42B. There are 2 ways to get to court to fight the what we call the 10-year cancellation, non-LPR cancellation of removal. One way is ICE pick you up. Now you go to police. Now ICE pick you up. Now you go to immigration jail. Now you file for the 42B if you're here more than 10 years, and if you have sick children. In this case, you're not in court, so you cannot file anything. So the way to do it, one way to do it is not the way. Is one way to do it is file the asylum case. Now, it doesn't mean everybody should file asylum, because immigration would kill us. I mean, they don't like it, and also you'd have to have a story. So you need to have, like, if you are from China, it's a little bit easier, because it's a communist country. If you're from like a very bad place like El Salvador years and years ago, now it's not. Now it's getting better. So it depends on what country, depends on the story. Could you have a non-frivolous, bona fide, credible? So that's a lot of laws on asylum. So as long as you do it right, the courts don't yell at us. If I do it wrong, the courts will be screaming. I mean, these judges, they, sometimes they could yell, and they, it's their kingdom, their territory. So to answer, yes, you could do it, but you better make sure you file a good case.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this answer. And yeah, you better do it with a good attorney that knows what they are doing. Ms. Wong, a lot of people ask me about doing an asylum case or filing an asylum case with a paralegal. What are the pros and what are the cons of doing this with a paralegal?
I get that question a lot also. In the olden days, it doesn't matter because you came with a tourist visa, you came undocumented or illegally, but you were not stopped at the border. So it's what we call an affirmative filing. There's an address, you can file, and then you get a receipt notice and you get a fingerprint notice. And then 151 days later, you make sure there's a clock and you file the work permit. Most paralegals, they don't know how to file, timely for work permit. So if you just want something filed, it's okay. The problem is through the years, especially now, they stop us at the border or we volunteer at the border. So those are defensive filing. You have to file it with the court. You need, a lot of those are EROP, ECAS. That means that it's e-filing now. So it's all emailed. They also have a separate email for CIS, Asylum, so it's getting more complicated. Even sometimes I have to go to my lead. We have a team, just like Mr. Juan Carlos said, that's really good at this. I have to call them and say, hey, how do you do this? Or what do I need? So I'm happy because I have a very good team with me. They know more than I do. I mean, we have lawyers here that really knows how to do this, how to get away with this. I mean, I'm not talking about slimy stuff, criminal stuff, but there's nuance in every practice and every business and every trade. Even an electrician, there's always a nuance. Why do you need a master electrician and not a normal 25-year-old electrician? The house doesn't burn down. So but if it's a simple one and you don't really care about win or lose, you don't care about the work permit, you just want to file something, which was like maybe 30 years ago, because that's when TPS El Salvador came in on January 14th of 2001. You need to do NACARA, which is before 95, 89. Amnestia was, so those were years ago. Now I sort of worry about that. Even myself, I have to double check, triple check. And then I have to call one of our senior lawyers and say, what do you think about this? Do you think it's okay? And they say, oh, if I were you, I would do this, this, this. What part, if they're from Sudan, I always have to ask, are they from north or south? Sudan is good. Yemen is really bad. So we have a lot of Yemenis who are actually born in Saudi or born in QAE, but wife is in Yemen. So those are cases where there's a chance to win it. So don't screw people up, just to make a few dollars. Even I have to ask. I always have to ask. And I say, if you don't mind, let me call you back. Let me figure this out for you. And that's how I learn from our lawyers, from our clients, because I'll call another client and say, hey, have you ever heard of this? I call Mr. Juan Carlos and say, hey, it's a Venezuelan, could I do this? Or do you think this is right? Or, something like that.
Yeah, and thank you so much for
And
trusting Wong, because that talks about your leadership. In the past, we learned that leaders were the ones that know everything, that they never make mistakes, that they have an answer for everything, but humbleness is more important, because when you are humble and you are not arrogant to ask someone that may be younger or that may be working on the immigration field for less years that you have been doing it, but when you get to ask them, that tells them and that tells everybody that you are humble enough to go and admit that maybe you don't know an answer, but you will find it with someone that is working with you. So that's a very good thing, Ms. Wong, and I admire that from you. Okay, let's go ahead with the next question. I lost my TPS. I am from El Salvador. Can I apply for it again? I lost it in 2012.
The reason, I wonder why you lost it. You forgot to do an extension, because those are automatic now. Absolutely refile. Even if you have a criminal record, for some reason, even though the law is the same for El Salvadorian TPS, I've seen cases, even with criminal records, they're approving. Absolutely file. Don't give it up.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Wong. That's an awesome answer. And yeah, please, if you need to talk to the attorney Margaret W. Wong, please just give us a call. The phone number is 216-279-3984. Don't forget that Miss Wong will be tomorrow in Nashville. So make your appointment if you haven't done it. The phone number is the one I just said, 216-279-3984. Um, Good afternoon. I am filing for asylum, but got a DUI. How bad is it?
One DUI is okay. Two is sort of bad. Three is really absolutely no. So no more. All right. So one is okay. It's bad, but it's okay. No more.
Perfect, Ms. Wong. Thank you so much. And I have a question here. This person says, what can you tell me some of the requirements for filing for a EB2 visa? Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes, that's an EB2 visa. It's different from EB3. It's different from EB1. EB2, there are two types, employer sponsor or self-sponsor. If you're a postdoc like PhD, MD, you can self-sponsor because most hospitals, clinics, or universities, they don't sponsor postdocs or MDs, doctors, PhDs who are in training or who are residency and fellow. They need a full-time job first. So there's employer sponsor and no employer sponsor. You always think of parallel track. What visa do I have now? I have O visa or H1B. So now I want to do an EB2 because my employer refused to sponsor me. Most employers, even the big accounting firms, big consulting firms now, they will only sponsor you after 3 to 5 years. VA hospital, in the olden days when we do a lot of VA, they do it right away. They won't get you an H because VA is an exam case. They do an H right to. Now VA hospital can do an O. They won't even sponsor you for 5 years because they know they don't want you to quit. So these are little things, but EB2 two type, employer sponsor, no employer sponsor. NIW, National Waiver is EB2. There are two ways also, employer sponsor, no employer sponsor. So it depends on your salary. If you make more than 65, 70,000 the engineer, it's a very good case for employer sponsor. So then you need a perm, but no employer sponsor, you can do NIW. Or if you only have 3 or 4 articles published, you don't qualify for EB1, you can also do no employer sponsor. Nurse is all EB3, but no employer sponsor, no need for perm. So if you give me more information, I can explain to you how to do it. It's not that difficult. It's not rocket science.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And well, I think we're done for today. Our show is done for today. Our time is up. But Ms. Wong, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge every Wednesday, every Thursday in English. And we hope to see you soon. And of course, we know every day is different. Some days are good, some days are not that good. But the good thing is that we need to stand and get back up to work and to help a lot of people because you don't know, Ms. Wong, how many people you have helped in 46 years. So all people will be grateful. Everybody will be grateful for what you did. And I know that maybe in Cleveland, in Nashville, in Atlanta, maybe you are walking somewhere and people say, hey, that's the attorney that helped us get the documents. So that's a very, very good experience to hear people say that and show admiration for you. So thank you so much, Ms. Wong, for this show. See you next week and have a safe flight to Nashville tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. And for everybody who has joined us today, don't forget the attorney Margaret W. Wong is only one call distance away from you. If you give us a call, the phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. The attorney Margaret W. Wong with over 46 years of experience in the immigration field. Thank you so much and see you next time.